Okay. Uh, Hello to everyone. Yes, we are on the air, right? So welcome to this webinar. Today we are examining a very interesting and exciting question. Not how to make AI smarter or faster, but actually, hello? Actually, how to make the AI trustworthy. So what do we do when AI fails from the organizational point of view? So I'm very lucky today. I have three very experienced professionals that are actually pioneers in this topic, and they can help us understand more about how to trust AI. So with me is Sherie Ng. She will help us with the business leadership and digital transformation across industries. And she's executive director of Singlife Philippines. Hi, Sherie. Do you want to say hello? Okay. And with me also, okay. With me also we have George Seah, who is director of data and AI for Capgemini Invent. And also joining us very soon will be Manprit Singh, who is an AI architect and engineer in Celebal Technologies. So I would like to ask to start the discussion. First of all, I want to say to the audience that if you have question and answer questions that you want to submit, please feel free to do so in the chat box or in the Q&A in the Zoom. And we'll try also to answer some of the already submitted questions. So I would like to start with a common question to all the speakers. So when we talk about trust to AI, we often mention transparency, accuracy, governance, but in reality, many of the toughest barriers are human. Some people might undertrust or equally problematic overtrust AI. They might be afraid that AI will take over their job. There might also be many cultural aspects of how AI is treated. From your experience, what are the biggest human barriers to trusting and adopting AI? And what can organizations, universities, business can do to prepare people to succeed in this AI-driven future? Sherie, you want to share your thoughts?
Sure. Thanks for having me. Good afternoon to all. Exciting topics, very important questions. I guess, we all, if you look at the speed and the rate of machine learning improvement, models improvement, the technical inaccuracy, issues with biases, lack of data, all these are very simple to fix in that sense where AI accelerated speed of improvement. You see the rate at which models are improving. To your point, I think one of the biggest challenges or barrier to adoption and trust is really from a psychological perspective, from a culture perspective, and mostly in the marketplace, what we are seeing is the economic fears of job displacement. So I guess those are some of the areas where it's difficult to manage. But nevertheless, I think government plays a very, very critical role because we all know that the adoption of AI is something that is important for individual society and the country. I think research shows that the economic impact of a country with rate of adoption of AI is anything between 6 to 12% on GDP. So it's a path that everybody needs to cross. I think from a government perspective, there are a few things that government can do, and we are seeing a lot of that happening for government all across Southeast Asia, for example. One, I would say, initiate industry partnerships where government is investing in AI infrastructure and education, and ensuring that it's providing grants, for example, to upskill and train, so that people are able to learn the how do you do the machine and human collaboration. Two is, of course, continuously ensure that government publish and establish, and this the Singapore government does it very, very well, the ethics, governance, and contestability framework to ensure that the foundational guardrails are implemented and enforced, and published, to the publics and to organization, and encourage, this will definitely encourage more trust in the system, that it's not on a playing field that is free. There are guardrails, there are proper policies, adherence that is required by countries, individuals, as well as society and organization that are adopting AI. And I think we can't say enough about developing basically programs from an education perspective. This is where I think university plays a very, very important role to redesign curriculum, incorporate AI literacy, ensure that the curriculum is not about how do you use the tools, but more the art of human and machine collaborations, and where you can improve on basically human ability to override and to judge, to exercise judgment against every AI dynamics in that sense. In organization, I don't know. I spend most of my time really working with companies and organizations. I'm seeing, we can chat more about it, but there's a tremendous reimagining and reinventing of processes, systems, rewiring of capabilities of employees, that is pretty much needed.
Well, it seems we need to do a lot of things, actually, right?
I know.
George, you want to add your own experiences or your own predictions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, by the way, that Sherie has shared a lot that which goes very well with my experience as well. I probably raise out 2 points. I think one of the things that when we work with clients or industries, right, I think we actually identify 8 hurdles that typically recurring in the organization. I think 2 of them that I think is quite commonly we hear. I think first thing is a limited understanding of AI capabilities and limitations. That stops or slow down the human AI collaboration that we recently talked about. And I think in one of my recent work with clients, right, by understanding what can be done by AI, what cannot be done, they actually start to realize there are a lot of things AI can be used to empower them. Then that's where the trust started. Before that, they were like, okay, I do very well in my jobs. We are covering everything. We don't need AI. But that changed once they have some understanding of it. And it's important to have that built out within organization or through the universities or through government initiative to enable that. The second is echo to what Sherie has shared about fear of job being impacted by AI. I think this is a real concern from a lot of individuals, colleagues. We need to acknowledge that and address that. And I think one of the work they are recently done with the hospitality sectors, which is very interesting. Hospitality sectors has been in labor shortage for quite a while. Oh, this is a constant topic. At the same time, when you talk to them, they say they are fear their job being replaced by AI. So you have two very diverse, quite polarized thinking at the same time for the individuals. So the reason being is that there hasn't been addressed how AI can be helped to empower them. They not just impacted their job or impacted their income. So this is something that we think they need to bring into the organization initiative when they try to make AI adopt within the organizations. Over to you, Georgios.
Yeah. I mean, I think the key problem is that we still do not know what AI cannot do. And the additional problem is that this changes day by day.
Yes.
It's very difficult to keep up the pace. Manprit, I don't know if you can hear us. Can you hear us, Manprit? Manprit? I think you cannot hear.
Yes, I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you. So
Okay.
sorry, I'm transit, so I've my flight got delayed, so I can't. It's better I don't switch on the camera. Give me a minute. I'm hearing the conversation. Are you able to hear me all right? Or?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Sorry, we have not developed AI tools to deal with that. It seems even
Right.
with AI, the flights will be delayed and cancelled. Anyways, yes. So the question, just to a reminder, right, is what are the human aspects that can affect the trust to AI besides the technological and technical aspects?
Right, and I think we're all sort of revisiting the same answer in different forms. We tend to be afraid of things that we don't understand, right? So I personally work with the experts of different nature, especially in the healthcare domain, and a radiologist, for example, and they were not afraid of it because it takes like 10 years, 15 years to get to a state after doing medicine to become a radiologist. So they were more skeptical as to what AI can do. And I had the chance to work with them for like last 25 years. When AI was not that prevalent, we were still using computer vision techniques to help them. So knowing that persona over time, what I've seen is their attitude has evolved. They become more, oh, can you offload this part of my boring work to the machine? Can I concentrate on this aspect, which is really a critical aspect? Can I do more scans in a day and not do the boring stuff, right? For example. So in that sense, yeah, it has helped a lot of these experts to become more productive, right? So they can do more scans in a day. If the hotel industry has a short supply, this thing is in many countries you have to wait to get a scan unless you meet an accident, for example. So in that sense, it really helps them to be more productive and really scale, right? So, but over time, the initial judgment is always skeptical as to, hey, can I trust what the machine would do? Can machine even come to a level that humans do the task? And then the answer to that usually lies by not doing the whole workflow, but maybe parts of the workflow that that could offload their could make them more productive. So yeah, the answer lies a lot in awareness, a lot of drill down on understanding, yes, and educating the human experts as to how AI can help them, and that generally is a design process, right?
I see.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, I recently read something very interesting. It's quite paradoxical that after AI was developed that could detect and analyze scans, one would expect that the job openings for radiologists will drop. Paradoxically, it actually increased. So we need more radiologists now. And the reason is that before AI, doctors will send patients to do a scan only when it was very, very something very urgent or very important. But with the invent of AI, they found out, okay, now I can do more scans and I can analyze faster. So this ended up to have a need for more radiologists. So we really don't know how this is going to evolve. Sherie, you have led digital transformations in multiple cultural contexts, and I want to bring in the cultural aspects. How do cultural norms, for instance, attitudes towards authority, hierarchy, attitudes towards uncertainty, we know that this is an important cultural aspect, even maybe gender roles could shape or affect how people respond to AI?
Yeah, I think in today's AI world, everything is powered by the LLMs, right? The large language models that's been developed, deployed, and AI is a function of the data that is ingested. So I guess it depends. It depends on different scenario, but there is no denying that cultural norm plays a very, very big role. Uh, I think there are some use cases that are deployed, for example, for customer service agentic AI, workflow. The customer service flow that works with Western American, consumer is going to be very, very different. Has a very different effects on Europeans, or for that matter, Chinese or Asians. So I guess there's a lot of fine tuning, a lot of judgment call that is required with the human in the loop interface, and it needs to be adopted culture to culture. If you talk about the organization's adoption, I mean, a very interesting perspective is if you implement a process and you explain it, that AI is going to be part of the process with collaboration with the employees in a Singapore context, I think it's a lot easier. In countries like I'm spending a bit more time now in the Philippines. You see that in a country like Philippines, that it requires more education, more helping the people understand the role, and that to your point, that people believe a lot in hierarchy, not as though, oh, I just believe in machine, what do my bosses says. So those things are impacting more the process of adoption. It's not so much the efficacy of the model. The efficacy of the model is typically affected by the data that is ingested.
Right.
Yeah.
So many audience question how can prepare people for the future-driven AI. So you already talk about educating, right? People. So maybe can you elaborate a little bit more about that? And again, are there like ways that we should take into account culture when we train people in AI or using AI?
I think if you look at what's happening today in the world, right? I think the statistics last year was like, a few 100 million people were just dabbling with AI tools. Just recent statistics shows that 1 billion people already have dabbled with AI tools, played around with it. But the developer community just on OpenAI, for example, was like 2 million last year, but was 4 million, just very, very recently. So things are changing very, very quickly where people are exposed to the tools, people are adopting. I would say, how do we be a catalyst and accelerate? I work a lot with government, so I feel that government plays a very, very important role, and AI has a significant opportunity to change the trajectory of the economic path for individuals and societies, right? So in Philippines, for example, we're partnering with the government to ensure that there are grants and AI infrastructure that are available to the very small businesses, so that you encourage adoption in large scales by giving them the resources to try to experiment. I think it's super critical from a government participation perspective. From organizations, I think that there needs to be a cultural shift. I say this term, we're playing a new games, and it requires new rules. So organization needs to redesign, for example, redefine what are the KPIs, or give people a lot more uh, opportunity to experiment and co-create, because AI unveils endless possibilities, and the most exciting thing is that people don't know what those possibilities are unless you experiment, you try. But organization needs to be a little bit more accommodative with trying and failing and fine-tuning and improving, and yeah, in that sense.
Yeah. I take a note about this idea about experimentation from everyone, actually, until we find out what is the best, because indeed we do not know how culture or other aspects interact with the way we use AI. George, maybe this will go now to you. So as more organizations adopt AI, we often hear concerns about regulation, governance, human oversight. Do you have some ideas about some practical governance frameworks that you think could empower employees to use AI, to your experience?
Yep. So I've been recently working a lot on AI governance topic with various clients. I think rather than zoom into certain framework, probably I want to share four perspectives that I think is quite relevant. What we observe. I think first thing is there's no one size fits all governance model. So there's a lot of good inputs from regulatories like UAIX, from Singapore IMDA, from Singapore MS. They have a lot of good guidelines being shared. But organization need to tailor what helps them to enable. We are a bit on the lucky side. A lot of guidelines that have been provided more like guidelines rather than hard law at this moment, which means that gives rooms for organization to give them time to tailor the governance that really creates values for them. So I think that's the first point. Second point is on the, I think, empower employees, right, to work. I think I like what we talk about experimentations. I think one point is that from the user adoption standpoint, it's very good to bring users in to do co-creations. Let them be part of it to shape the use case, how it been used. I think Manprit mentioned like using part of the process. I think this is where we can say, okay, maybe not in the step A, can we do in step B? They help to build a trust and then understand where the governance comes in. So at this point, so that we know that where the user will see this as a blockers or user see it as an enabler. Same goes to developments. I think commonly for the developers, you say, okay, the governance side asked me to prepare these logs, provide this reporting. Probably from the standpoint as well, what is needed. Something can be as simple as automated in a lot of engineering standpoint as well. So don't have to be another PowerPoint slides that requires the developer to create. So these are the ideas that I think could really empower everyone to adopt AIs, but with governance in place. I think the third point I want to share about governance, I think a lot of time we see governance as like a laws. You need to have this, you need to have that, you need to give me this doctrine, these artifacts. We should start to see governance as an enabler for innovation by providing clarity. In regulated sectors like banking, those are a must. But rather than stay high level, can we make it very clear for even people in developments, users, say that these are the boundary, this is what I needed, so that it can translate into something tangible. I did work with organizations that the compliance requires something that need to be prepared for over a week before can put into productions. But by being clarified clearly what is really needed, we really can bring down the time to 2 days. And this to meet the typical development life cycle. So those are possible, but can be done for the organizations. I think the fourth point I want to talk about is championing human AI collaborations. Governance can be a tool to championing that. Say that it's not an oversight, always like a human only just to see it. Really work together to see, okay, in this new, using the word future ready AI, how AI can be embedded. Can we rethink how can we collaborate like a co-workers or simply human always has to be oversight, something that need to be co-created together with governance. I think these are the 4 points that I want to share.
Okay, you bring up many new aspects. I want to ask, in that case, we will need to measure trust to AI at some point and in some way, because it's not a one-off, right? It is quite dynamic. And also many times AI will fail. We know it fails, right? And it will fail, and sometimes it will fail critically. So how will the governance frameworks deal with measuring trust and also with the AI failure and recovery?
Understand. So I think let's start with measuring trust. I think before we start to discuss that, we probably want to know, want to define is what do we actually mean trust in AI? Just like to discuss about trust in people is just hard to measure as well. So, but in the context of AI, I think there's a lot of technical proxy that have been used, like for example, reliability for uptimes, transparencies, loggings, how it's aligned to some of the human values like safety. So I think these are the things that can be measured as a proxy. I think we recently have a research. I think they are probably I just mentioned the top three that we think is commonly mentioned by all the organizations. Say that okay, these are I wanted to measure to build trust. I think first of all is accuracy and reliability. Second is a transparency and explainability. It means that can I explain what the AI doing or do I have any information to provide that? And then the third one is the security, governance, and compliance. You say that does it demonstrate that it comply to certain, is basically more relevant to regulated sectors that is aligned with the regulations. Regarding your points that about how you recover from the failure, I think that the latest trend that everyone try to do now is try to shift. Let me say that we see the failure as early as possible. Can we start to let it fail early in the development, and then use that to build up mechanism around it to monitor, govern it, and build out the recovery plan on top of it. So I think these are the ideas that where governance comes in place to encourage that.
That's very interesting, and actually some of our research in my lab saw some surprising results. So personality of let's say you interact with a chatbot, the personality of the chatbot might matter. For example, if it talks in an anthropomorphic way, like a human or not, might make the AI more or less trustworthy for the very same advice. And also we test even different types of apologies. So for the same failure, if the AI uses different words to apologize, we see different types and different rates of recovery. Yes, there are technical aspects, but I think there are like some what we call behavioral aspects or small, tiny changes in the wording and the so-called personality of the AI that could help. Manprit, many ODS questions touched on responsible and ethical AI. Not only about AI regulation, which is what George talked about, but also how organizations can apply responsible AI daily. So from your perspective, how can companies make principles like fairness, accountability, what George talked about, transparency, tangibility in everyday workflows?
Right. So I think the answer is very industry specific and use case specific. So there is, I think we were mentioning there is no one governance framework that one size fits all. Are you able to hear me all right?
Yes, yes.
Right. So there's no one size governance framework that fits all, right? And even in one industry, certain use cases are, for example, yeah, you can live with a little error, right? But say, for example, we were discussing radiology, and that's something you can't live with an error, right? So if you have a false positive, maybe I can live with, but if you have a false negative, then you are looking at a very high repercussion of that such a use case. Similar is explainability. The regulators, even in the absence of AI, for example, when we give as simple as thing as a loan application, approval, disapproval, needs to be supported by evidence as to why did you approve this, why did you or disapprove this, for example. So in that case, it becomes very important to understand the industry requirements, and a lot of industry-specific extensions to AI adoption are already solidifying very nicely. So you have, and they are very country specific as well, right? So the way healthcare works in Singapore is while largely it's common, maybe quite different from certain other countries based on the risk appetite of the country. So you need to read that and then come up with a governance mechanism to apply that. This is nothing new, right? So if you, for example, develop a software for a medical device or avionics in an airplane, they go through a very high level of testing, and because they are so safety critical. So if AI, if one day it supports a pilot, of course, you'll need to be very sure that it will work correctly and will not fail in any circumstance. So generally, a software that is written for such applications is generally 1,000 times more expensive than for a normal website, for example. So same will apply to AI, and the principles of human machine collaboration in that context would need to be understood very carefully. One of the things that gets a lot of attention, for example, is the transparency, right? In many ways, sometimes there was a study done by Stanford Human Computer Interaction Institute, and interestingly, even humans like doctors, when they do a diagnosis, they sometimes are also very intuitive, right? So it's not always that they are completely clear, 100% sure why they're doing what they're doing. And humans are all intuitive creatures as well, right? So to expect a machine that has been trained by a human to be 100% clear as to why it is making that decision is a little bit of an overkill, right? Um, so, um, so yeah. Again, these things are we tend to, as Elon Musk says, right? If a human makes a mistake while driving, oh yeah, happens. If a machine does it, then we are like we have very low tolerance for it. So, yeah, I think our understanding of machines and our expectations from them would probably evolve as we progress. But these are areas that are rapidly evolving. As of now, I think machines are still. We still expect machines to be very good. Yeah. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, you did. Actually, you bring up this point that we expect machines to, especially AI, to be perfect, and a small failure moves the user to the other side of the continuum, and now they don't trust AI at all. So we need to strike a balance. I mean, what is emerging here is that there is one size fits all solution. This is not surprising, but actually this is I think this is a strength of AI. So to take the example of healthcare again, the new revolution is what is called precision medicine or precision science. So precision medicine means that in the old days, if the three or the four of us would go to the doctor and we have the same symptoms, they are going to give us pretty much the same treatment. But with precision medicine, they would take into account our personal lifestyle, even our DNA, and would give us personalized advice. And I think the same could be done with customers, organizations, even down to the individual employee. And AI can do that, I think. So based on this, and I go back to Sherie, and actually this is a question for everyone in the panel. So looking ahead, as AI becomes more embodied, and actually I need to bring up that robots will be combined very soon with AI. So we're talking about a different type of interaction. I think George talked about hospitality industry, right? So we could have robots serving us. So as AI becomes more embodied, more agentic, more present in our workplaces, what is one step that organizations, educators, or governments, you pick up whatever you want, should take this year, the next 12 months, to strengthen human trust to AI? Sherie, this difficult question for you.
I think we are coming from a world where AI offers the augmentation of human intelligence and being like a mini assistant, to a fully autonomous world where, if AI becomes fully embodied and agentic, it is a very, very different dynamics, because I think the very critical thing to do is to put in place a very transparent framework, guardrails, and there's no like one thing, right? A proper framework and guardrails that will uh, be very evidential and clear on, hey, there needs to be, this is the constraint and the boundary of what autonomous AI can subscribe to. Two is it needs to have regular audits, like how we audit accounts and books. We don't leave companies alone. The same thing, how do you audit the processes and the agentic workflows within a company, within an organization, and then the continuous improvement of the models, because you're going to find a lot of loopholes, a lot of issues and challenges that needs a continuous, and that's the beauty of AI. The machine is learning at all times, and self-learning and self-imposing on some of the major improvements. So I guess, again, down to a very clear, definitive framework that needs to be put in place now than later, before things goes south.
George, your opinion?
Yeah, I think I fully agree what Sherie has shared. Probably one more things to add on is that starting about how this human AI collaboration going to be beyond just embedding AI into the processes. Do we want to use bring AI as a co-thinker, co-workers, really start to prototype in these 12 months, like, okay, what works, what not works within the organization, and then on top of what Sherie has shared, to build up the framework to govern it.
Manprit, any comments? What organizations should do the next 12 months? Manprit? Okay, while waiting for Manprit, I mean, we have a question actually for Sherie and anyone actually, right? So the question is about whether what is the role of leaders, and do leaders need to have what is called cultural intelligence, meaning the ability to understand different cultures and adapt?
What's the role of leaders?
Yes, so we talk about, like, do leaders also need to, and can they actually ensure that the AI will be culturally sensitive and culturally intelligent, or we just rely on the models and they learn on their own?
I think it's interesting. I feel like leaders are even more busy with AI. I think the role of leadership is super critical in juncture like that, because we're talking about a transitionary phase, right? Where we've been working in a world of leveraging on analytical models and stuff like that, to transitioning into a world that we depend on. Society is going to be re-architect fundamentally to incorporate AI as a core capabilities, like how you transition from steam engine to electricity. Everything needs to be redesigned, so leaders will play a very, very crucial role in the redesign, reimagine process. Leaders needs to not just think about the machine capabilities and the efficacy, but more importantly, also how do you redesign organizations. So to George's point, the workforce of tomorrow is very different. It's no longer just human; it's human, machine collaboration. Leaders need to redefine the goalposts as well. Leaders needs to ensure that, like I say, the whole cultural shift of the company organization is going to be fundamentally relook, I would say. for us to be successful in the AI-driven economy. So no rest for leaders.
Yes. I think it gets more and more difficult unless the leaders themselves are replaced by AI, including political leaders, maybe. I mean, we have one country that actually introduced AI to the political leadership, right? George, there is another question, actually, and this is quite interesting. Who has the responsibility for the decisions at the very end? Who bears the liability for something wrong?
I think at this juncture, the human still owns the liability and responsibility on the outcome, and I think it will stay the way. I think again, this is not just starting from AI. Actually, predated AI when some other automation technology comes out. I think this discussion comes out very openly. If the decision has been automated, who holds the responsibility and liability? Ultimately, it's still human, it's still the team. So we need to structure the way that also for the team to account for it, they will ask for data, ask for evidence. So we need to make sure the AI system being built provide that kind of information for for us to hold the responsibility. I think that's the way to that's my thoughts on this topic.
I mean to follow up and make your life more difficult. The AI is different from the past decision systems because it learns on its own. It's not like a decision tree that you can give, like, say, do that, don't do that. I mean, it's not so simple. It's so let's say you have AI making assisting, let's say, during a surgery and makes a mistake,
Yes.
all right? Or you have an AI driving a ship and the ship goes to the wrong port, say something soft. It's something that could not be predicted from when you build the AI system, right? Because it's not a decision system. So what do we do in that case? Can we still blame the company or the human?
It's a very difficult question. Thanks, Georgios, for making it very difficult. I think there's a practical aspect of it in the sense that when we I think just like when we empower individual or system to make decisions, what do we do as a leaders? We set boundary. What are the decisions can be made by the system? So the question is like when we empower a ship to drive by itself and then certain decisions, have we thoroughly considered what are the implications? I know it's tough, by the way, so that's why I find it's a difficult questions. But have we thoroughly considered? I think there's a famous trolleys problems from the autonomous car, which is famously been studied. Still don't have a good conclusion on it. It's for the same discussion here. If we're going to enable autonomous car, how do we address this kind of dilemmas? Very very difficult to address of it. In my views, there's certain responsibility from individual who governing a system still need to stay on top of it, being accountable for it. But practical aspect or organization level, I think it will be means like what's the boundary that we are allowing autonomous decision makings that we can be thoroughly tested and being just like what we do for any organizations.
Right. In fact, since you brought up the trolley dilemma, it's actually, we know that when you ask what a human should do, not what a machine should do, there are cultural differences. So different cultures will offer different solutions to this problem. So some more questions. So some of the people in the audience are worried that eventually, if we overuse AI, we will not be able to adapt as individuals and as organizations. Do you agree with that, Sherie? And how do we ensure that people will be adaptive?
I think I think it's to me, the AI revolution is like, the electricity coming into every buildings, every, machine, is something that cannot be stopped in that sense. If a country, individual, and organization wants to progress and wants to take advantage of the technological impact on the economics, so I would say it's a process, and very very soon, like how we get used to having the internet, I think humans are very adaptable and very resilient. I would feel that, it's not a question of will you adapt, it's a question of how smooth the adoption is, how fast can we adapt to a world that is very very, that is being rewritten, I think. All the codes are changing. So, which is why education is going to play such an important process. Which is why government needs to play a very very important role of creating the infrastructure to allow people to learn faster, adopt, experiment. I think George or Manprit mentioned, right, the moment you started using, I guess it's about, it becomes addictive because, hey,
Yeah.
I'm getting so much efficiency gain, I can write faster. I shared an example. I've always admired, musicians and artists, because I have none of those skills. But today I can easily create a song, write a song, play some music, even create very very nice art pieces with the help of AI. So the possibilities are so exciting for every human. I guess it's about us, yeah, having an open mindset. And once you try, I guess people will understand, and humans are resilient enough to put the right guardrails to make sure that we use it for as a force for good, versus destructions.
Yeah, let's be optimistic. I'm not sure how adaptive people are, but let's say that's a discussion for another panel. But George, following on that, right? You said before that you are able to update the governance every week or every 2 days, right? Is this fast enough? The
Uh,
adaptive element.
uh, uh, I, good questions. I would say that now the evolution of the AI technology are way faster than where AI governance been developed. I think I recently read the investment go into AI use case developments, or making AI more useful. I think to versus AI safety, AI governance, I think it's 40 to 1. So every $1 in AI safety, $40 being invested in AI use cases and development. What does it mean? The exponential on AI changes will be way faster than where AI governance been implemented. Just the amount of effort and time and investment going to it. So yes, maybe 2 days still not fast enough to catch up with this exponential speed that we see in the AI adoptions or use case developments. But having said that, I think this is something that we need to strive to advocate and gain the awareness more for broader groups as well. Hopefully, eventually we can meet the speed of where the AI has been evolved.
Right. Yeah, I think every day I read the news, there is a new AI technology emerging, and it's the example you brought up with cybersecurity, for instance. It's very difficult to catch up. So we might need to adapt, at least organizations that need to adapt their governance very, very quickly. I'm not sure if Manprit is still around.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was not sure. I mean, you want to add something on the discussion? I mean, basically, what should organizations do, and also how can we train the future generations, actually? And I'm speaking as a business school professor, so how should we change our curriculum to make sure that the future professionals are ready to properly use AI?
Yeah, I think heard some very good keywords like addiction and laziness. And I'm personally very lazy, and I'm so happy that this invention happened because it really helps me be much more productive. Um, and uh, and you're right. There's a lot of confusion around who should do what with it. So my son, basically in the school in Singapore, wrote his homework, and being honest, he wrote at the end in the references, use ChatGPT, and I got a call from the school. I'm like, did you tell him that he can't use AI? If you haven't told him, then how do you expect that he will not use it? I'm the guy who creates it. So, anyways, the jokes around. So yeah, I think there is with any new technology, there is there are certain people who are progressively, hey, what do I do with it? The others who are like, what is it going to do to me? Um, and the the way I've seen, like when I classify the two groups, it's interesting. In every industry, there are two groups. One group is like, okay, roll up the sleeves, start using it, um, see what happens with it. The other group is careful and what is this new beast that is showing up here? Um, so yes, I think the answer lies in education. And the schools should, in a controlled manner, help them understand, because inevitably this is going to happen, right? So I'll use this example. There's a very good statement where for product managers, right? So there's this person who was a great product manager, and he said, well, AI is not going to take over your job, product managers, but if you do not use AI, the other product managers are going to take over your job because they'll be 10 times more productive than you are, right?
Yeah.
So in that sense, that was a very enlightening statement for me even, right? So, the human efficiency index would see a lot of improvement quite quickly. The other aspect is around what OpenAI terms as, the minimal compute, right? The per capita compute that is required, because everybody will require access to this, right? So those who do not have access and those who have access, if there is a differential in that, it would create a lot of shift in the society in terms of expertise, right? So I think this is a tectonic shift. Somebody said this like an electricity, so it is. Not everything is clear, but in either way, it's a very exciting future for humanity. So yeah, we need to keep an open mind and see how exactly we adopt this in our daily workflows, whatever jobs we do. There's another paper that Microsoft published is around the Frontier organization, and it's about. I strongly suggest the audience to read that, and it's about the human agent ratio. Right? So the agents are not just models; they are more holistic end-to-end AI that can do more complete tasks, as we know. And how in an organization, as it evolves, that ratio would decide the efficiency of an organization. Again, it's initial research. Right? There's not a lot of data to prove that. But some of the core matrices of an organization and how do we measure the efficiency of an organization, etc. You can see something is on horizon that is going to change quite a way, fundamental way we measure organizational efficiency or a subject matter expertise efficiency, countries efficiency, etc. Right? So those things then make us think that this is not just another technology like a dot-com burst that is going to come and go. It's going to fundamentally change quite a few things on the way we perceive countries, organizations, individual expertise, etc. So yeah, very bright future. I think we need to keep an open mind and see how best we can use it.
I think yeah, it is and it will be an open question. If I want to summarize, I think we need to be open to experiment at many levels, organizational, even at the personal level, and see how this dyadic interaction between human and AI will evolve. There's something funny I read recently, like somebody said that I was hoping that AI will do the laundry so I can do my art and my painting. But it seems the opposite. It's AI doing the art and the movies and the painting, and I'm still doing my laundry. So I mean, the question is, and we talk about a lot about productivity and efficiency and the increase in productivity. But I think deep inside, we hope also that AI will not increase, that the purpose of AI is not only to increase productivity, but actually to increase creativity and to give humans more free time and to increase our well-being. I speak in this like from a psychologist's point of view. So I hope that AI is an opportunity for humanity to not only increase our output in organizational aspects, but our output as humans. With that, I would like to thank everyone, Sherie, George, Manprit, for your insightful comments. And I would like to thank the audience, and thank you very much. And you can use this, you can see in this slide to fill in a short survey. We didn't solve all the questions we promised to solve, but that's the point, actually, to have more questions. So thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you. Bye-bye.